I was sitting around, it's so close after today is what, the 18th of February, and it's we're coming right off the cusp of Valentine's Day. And we were talking about relationships and friendships and just actual interaction with folks, and more so as it involves a love interest. And it just got me thinking about that whole thing, relationships just in general. Let's talk about it a little bit. And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I'm going up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, again, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Like I said, we're going to talk about um relationships and and just the actual dealing with other people in general. More relationships, friendships, that kind of thing. Um I've told you all before, when it comes to me, I'm very guarded and very shut off when it comes to actual like love relationships, and that's because I've actually dealt with a bad relationship in the past, and I just kind of got to the point where I just kind of didn't want to mess with it. So for years, I just really have warded that off, and I've been thinking about it. Yeah, thinking about it. And I said, oh, maybe I'll let somebody in. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Because at at the time I didn't even have kids at the time when I broke off from my relationship that was like went on for like 8.5 years, and it was just bullshit. I didn't even have kids yet. Then once the kids came, then that was the whole thing. My time was taken up, and I didn't want to be bothered. And then there was a whole nother set of situation about having people around my kids. I wasn't with it. Now the kids, child, they old. You know what I mean? They 12 and 15. So it's a whole new ball game. So I'm just thinking about it, and there's possibility. So that's that. And possibility was always there. Was never an issue with anybody wanting to be uh in my face. That was that was never an issue. But like I said, I'm just a little more open to it now, I guess. But anyway, but then there's always been that thing with me, as far as friendships go, from being younger. And anybody, I got a lot of new subscribers, so I'll just kind of cover some things quickly, because a lot of people who have been with me for a long time, they already know that I was always I was kind of like a loner, if you can even believe that. I was kind of like a loner. I did a lot of hanging out by myself and watching television. And it's so funny because it kind of how things you do early in your life lead you on to what you're going to be doing later on. I watched a lot of television. I loved music. And then I was very creative. So those were always things that I could pretty much do by myself. The most time that I really spent around people, I did like dance classes, and I took computer classes and things like that. And then I went to school. But other than that, I didn't have any use for people. And then whenever I, would go, to work, once I got to be like 14, I started working. So then I would be around people. But I never actually really took on friends. I had the same, I had one friend that was my age, and I had my best friend who was actually 10 years older, and I hung out with one of my god sisters a lot, who was actually 10 years older than me. Um, and in that time, I learned a lot. I learned a lot. That's why I have that whole sorted. I had a lot of cousins and stuff. So I went through enough stuff with them. I learned enough stuff dealing with my own family members. When it came to friendships, it was even harder for people on the outside because I went through all the emotions that people kind of go through with their friends. I did it with my cousins. You got your my cousins. They were just like people in the street. We were related, but they did all the same shit. All the backstabbing, fake phony bullshit, and all. I still got the chance to experience all that stuff growing up, even though I warded off other people. And then I figured, I said, once you got to a certain age, then that stuff actually stopped, and you would actually go on, and things would be different. And then I found, no, you just grow up, and people just become bigger, and they become older, and they still do the same stupid shit, just on different levels. So I've always been very leery when it comes to friendships, and I'm very funny, and and it seems you got to get burned, and I've been burned many times. Um, Growing up being gay, that's a whole nother issue, because you're gay, you're talented. That's when I got to be like teenager, I learned it was like, okay, you're talented, you can do things, that everybody else can't do, and there are things that people find useful. So then people start kind of migrating to you, and as I got to be in my later teens and things, and I'm growing up, and I'm seeing that, and I had to learn that lesson. So, um, very, very interesting. Very interesting when you start dealing with people, and it's very hard to tell who's real and who's here for what. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because every facet of your life, it seems you have to go through this. When you start a new job, you have to do it all over. If you start a new relationship, you got to do it all over. Because then, if you start a relationship with a guy or a girl, then you got their friends. And it's like you got to go through it all over again. Um, and it's crazy. Like I laughed. I said, I did it, as a child. Then you do it as a teenager. Then you kind of do it again when you start into the workforce, and then anything else that you do, extracurricular or on the side. It seems you have to go through these things all over again. Um, Even when I went into the drag world, all over again. It was this whole thing of these new group of people who's trying to get at me and what they're trying to get at me for. And guess what? YouTube is no different. It's no different. It's so funny. Like I was really just sitting thinking about it. I'm like, wow, it's the same thing all over again. That you got to go through these different groups of people, and why are people trying to attach themselves to you, and what it's really all about. So that's kind of where my mind was. So I'm going to try, because this is just a big topic. So I'm going to try to kind of pull it in, and maybe I'll make a few videos, and we'll really break some of this stuff down. We could do some stuff from the past. We could do some stuff present, and we'll just kind of work around it. But I think what I'm going to let's talk about YouTube today. We'll talk about YouTube today, and then maybe I'll figure out how I'll break this off into a series. But right now, we will talk about YouTube. Let's talk about YouTube. So, fishing through and searching through and friendships and stuff like that in YouTube. One thing I will tell you that has been the best for me, because I don't want this to be this whole negative thing, because it's not. My YouTube journey has not been like a negative journey. Um, in total at all. Like I love the time I spend on YouTube with my creating, and then my interaction. I absolutely love it. Even with the trolls and all of that, they're very interesting. Some of them are very funny. Like I tell you all the time, like I just get a huge kick out of Lipstick Alley. I get a kick out of it. I think it's hilarious when they're dragging you and they're saying things. Sometimes they tell pretty good damn jokes, and I have a pretty good sense of humor, so I laugh at some of the shit they say is like funny. Um, and then sometimes when they get the story, sometimes it's a little irritating when they have the story wrong, when they're accusing you of things and that's not how it went at all and they got it wrong. But it's really interesting to see when sometimes they have shit completely right and they don't even realize they got it right. Like they're speculating, and you be like, oh my God, really correct. It's more funny when it's about somebody else. But it's they serve their purpose. Lipstick Alley, they're funny. They're a funny outlet. And then you got the trolls that you actually just have. You have your trolls, and then you actually have people who follow you who are underlying trolls. It's the dynamics are so crazy because like I have all these subscribers, and I have subscribers that, and these are the ones that you see that are like, yes, I am Shay Treasure all day long. That's my boy. I'm here for it. I've been here since this time, this, that, and the other. And I'll tell you, a true Shay Treasure member is a person who has no problem rolling up and saying, James, I don't, I don't, I ain't feeling what that is you saying. I don't agree, and this is why. And then we say, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, all right. And then they'll say, this is what I really think. And I'll say, okay. And I'll be like, well, no, I don't agree. Or sometimes it's like, damn, I didn't think about it like that. I've had some aha moments because definitely I don't know everything. And we get that. So those are your true riders and the people I really love dealing with. I don't need, oh, you're right. Oh, you're so right. Everything you do is correct. No, baby, I ain't got that kind of folks. I don't carry that kind of folks. My folks are a lot, you kind of draw to you. The true people that you draw to you are generally people that are like you. They're like minded. And they'll tell you, they have a specific way of thinking. And then you have people like, okay, for instance, I ran to a person. This was just yesterday. I was actually on a live. I was on a live with Mr. Wilson, Jay Wilson. Hey Jay. And I was over there and I'm just enjoying myself over there on Jay Wilson's page. And I'm actually out. I'm not even home. I'm out. And I'm out doing something. And I was playing bingo. Y'all know, what I mean. I was playing bingo and I was doing my thing and I'm listening to Jay and I'll type in, yeah, Jay, whatever, and say hello to the people and whatever. And all of a sudden I had a person that said to me, they made reference to something that had gone on, some little piece of dramatic bullcrap. And it was one of those backhanded little things, one of those, I'm not going to really attack you, but I'm really going to attack you. But you're not smart enough to realize that I'm attacking you. Passive aggression. You all know how much that Capricorn in me can't stand passive aggression. Can't stand it. And I'm like, wow. So, you got this type of person. I have those people. They float in and they pretty much pretend that they really are down with you, but they're not really down. Anybody who's really passive aggressive like that, they ain't really down for you. And they don't make good friends. I'm gonna tell you. Even, they're not good for situationships with you, nor well with me. So I'm talking about me. They don't make good friends or situationships. Um, because it's really, for me, I always kind of feel like it's sort of like a love hate type of thing. You know what I mean? Like I really do like what you do, and I like stuff about you, but I really don't like you for real. There's something else. There might be a couple other things about you that I really don't like, but I can't stop being around you, and I can't stop trying to be in your presence. That's kind of the relationship. Y'all see that a lot when I'm always fussing about my one aunt. Y'all get that. My aunt's very much like that. It's always a passive aggression thing. And my aunt's very she's a weirdo. She's just a weirdo in general. And this is what I was getting from that person. And I had actually, I stated what I had stated on the video she was talking about. And I said in the video that I wasn't going to address that back and forth with anybody. I said that. So I gave a fair warning. I said what I said, and I had moved on. And I really, really meant it. Like, I really meant it. And I really had, and I have to, and I'm going to say again right now, if Jay Wilson actually is in this video or sees this video, that I am very sorry for even having to do that in his live, down in his comment section of his live. But I believe, like I did it with my kids, I believe in wherever you cut up is where I spank your ass at. So, all I can offer you, Jay Wilson, is I apologize for having to show my ass in your live, but boo, it had to be done. It was just what it had to be done. Cause see, I already gave out instructions about how I was going to deal with that situation, and I ain't accepted nothing else, and I meant it. So hopefully we don't have no more of that. But yeah, it was like a, well, now that you've said this, that, and the other, what do you think that your contribution did with the mess? See what I mean? That whole backhanded, that you thought you were, and that's what I told her. I said, didn't I tell you yesterday? I told you yesterday that I wasn't fooling with that. That's what I did. I told you. You heard it. I know you've seen the video because you're responding. And I said that I wasn't doing it. If you don't like my stance and you feel some kind of way about me, quietly walk away from me. That's what I said. It's really the click of a button. Subscribe, unsubscribe. It's one button. It don't require a conversation. It don't require nothing. It's a click of a button and go on about your business. There are millions of YouTube channels. And truly on that situation, that's how I felt. You feel some kind of way, baby? Roll. See ya. And y'all know y'all don't usually ever hear me really say that, but I ain't fighting to keep you. I ain't fighting to convince you. Don't really care what you think. I click the button and keep it pushing. I don't want to hear about it. So I felt like she was completely out of order and you were being passive aggressive. And then she moved into that other thing. Y'all know, hashtag BP and PP. Now you gonna tell me about but no, I said that I liked you in the beginning, because she did at the beginning comment, I like you and I like your content, which was nothing but a lie. That was nothing but a lie. That was the precursor for me to kick you in your ass. That's all it was. That's the passive part. And the aggressive part came right behind. But see, I was already watching and I wasn't feeling that. So none of that shit didn't matter. So I said, no, I know what you were doing, baby. And I wasn't accepting because I'm not slow. I ain't slow. Now there's some slow people on here. There's some slow folks that's all involved in that mess that think they move fast. Truly. But I ain't one of them. And I told her, get moving and stop talking to me. I asked this woman a couple times, stop talking to me. Go away from me with that. And Jay was doing his thing and I'm like, damn, I felt bad about kind of keep interrupting him while he's doing his thing, but sorry, Jay, it had to be done. And she continued on, and then I even had one of my actual writers say, just give James some time and then the two of you all could fix it. And I told her then, not today. You don't set her up. She's an intruder at this point, and there will be no fix. She can go away. Period. Either she can go away or I can make her go away. I mean, it's because I can push the one button too. I usually don't because they're adults. So I don't really like having to block and all that dumb stuff. Like, why I gotta block you? Why I gotta block you? Just go on about your business. Because I don't mind you watching. Just shut up. Don't talk to me. If you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Go ahead and free yourself. Fanny said it best. Go on. I don't want to have to block you and stuff, but that's the kind of thing that went on. So passive aggression and friendship, not really a good thing. And even in a situationship like for you two, that passive aggression is bullshit. Anybody got time for that? Anybody got time for that? In real life, I've dealt with a passive aggression with a person who literally, and I'll tell you, that's why I seem very short with the situation because I actually dealt with that with a person in my real life. Well, I've done more than once, but the one that comes to mind right now, um, over 20 years, over 20 years, I dealt with this person. And you just kind of, you deal with it and you keep moving, you deal with it, you keep moving. And then one day it clicks to you, this shit ain't getting no better. This ain't getting no better. Like, I've explained to you, I've pulled back from you, and then it's, oh, an apology, and then we move on, and then it go for a while, and you pull it again. You know, that's where I have the problems with forgiveness. We'll talk about that another day too. That's, oh man, forgiveness. I have a bad one with forgiveness. But anyway, so that's that one. That's that whole passive aggression thing. Then here's another one on YouTube that I've seen. The narcissist. Watch out. Oh my God, you guys. Watch out for the narcissist. Look out for the narcissist. And I'm going to tell you where you generally run into this one. You run into the narcissist. That's not so much of the people who are watching, like my chez trésor, and I'll always feel led to always say like my chez trésor, my girls, but I'm sorry because I got guys too. I used to didn't have any guys, and now I got like 95% girls, and I got like 5% guys. So I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. My people, my folk. Um, I don't usually run into the narcissism as much with them, but it comes into play with when you make friends with other content creators. Because I'm always really open to that. Like, I'm really open because a lot of times, people who are just watching a lot of times will turn into content creators. And of course, it's always, I'm always open to help. Whatever you need, tell me, what it is, and I'll help you out. If I can't, if I can help you, I'll help. But you gotta watch. You gotta watch because what I've found has happened a few times with YouTube. You'll make friends with content creators, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it'll be like a ton of bricks. You'll start noticing them trying to fact check you. Hold it. You did. And it gets to then, and that's part of their, it's part of their individual. It's only, you got to watch it because it's part of their individual thing. That narcissist will start to fact check you, and it's like they try to pick out every little thing that they think that you're doing wrong, and then they're a real they're a real narcissist when they want to try to say it in the public eye. They want to make sure that people know they're checking you. Okay? They do it. And then, y'all know me, when I turn up that side eye and be like, you talking to me, bitch? Then you'll get a phone call. That's when it goes back behind the scenes. After you've already tried to embarrass, because that's what you've tried to do. You tried to slickly embarrass me, which you can't. Like, I make mistakes. If I make a mistake, it's no big deal. I'll make a mistake. It's no big deal. They'll hit you if they actually have your phone number, which I don't give my phone number to very many people. So naturally, y'all know the people who I'm talking about. They know who the fuck they are, but it ain't no big deal because I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, okay? So I'm gonna continue. But then you'll get the phone call and it'll be like, oh, you didn't get mad at me, did you, Miss Thing? No, I'm not mad. I'm not mad, but you just know I see you, bitch. I see you. Come on, stop. We all grown. Remember, I've been here a long time. I'm damn near 50. I'm kicking 50 in the ass. I see you, and it's cool. You let it slide, and then you go on, and then it'll just keep on popping up because they can't help themselves because it's part of their personality. And what you'll realize, you'll start seeing competition, and you'll start seeing, if y'all do things that are similar, There's this underlying competition. That's one thing I have never liked. And I found this a lot. I've started seeing this later in YouTube, but I found this a lot in the drag world. When I was in the drag world, I would find that being friends with other drag queens, that sometimes you got to watch out for that personality trait. Then it's always, they never have anything nice to say, or there's always an issue. Nothing is ever correct unless they play part in it. That's a narcissist. You got to watch out for that. You got to definitely watch out for that. So, all of you all, I'm telling you, if you have not dealt with other content creators and maybe you're helping them, or maybe not helping them, you just be being friends with them. And that's one thing see I don't see where a content creator there's levels to this shit. I don't see where a content creator literally needs to be chin checking another content creator in their comments. Because if you're close enough to feel that you can check me, then you probably have my phone number. Then say, but really, it don't even require a call, because why are you trying to check me? Just make sure you do a good job. You know what I mean? That's what I'm gonna take. Erase that. Erase that. Because see, that's stuff I would never do. I've never went into a content creator's in their comments and been like, girl, not like that. Not saying you did your review wrong, or you did this wrong. Now, if it's something opinion based, or if it's something that is like something like if we're in a live and you're trying to do some information and it's a quick, like, oh no, boo, it's this. That's help. That's not no problem. But I mean, to literally go in and say you did a bad review. What kind of shit is that? Like, that's just kind of something I would never do. And then again, you don't even light back out. You just be like, okay, whatever. And then you backpedal and you pussy pop. And then eventually it'll all come to a head. You know, you got to watch that. So you run into that on YouTube, and which was kind of crazy for me. The thing is, just make sure whenever you're doing those things that you're chin checking that person for, make sure that you actually do that as well as they do. And if you don't, shut your mouth. Because remember, you don't compete where you don't compare. That's a word. Write that down. You should write that down. You should write that down. You don't compete where you don't compare. Good evening. Now, I'm great. Okay, so we've gone almost, child, it's almost half hour. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. This is the last thing. Okay. This is a big one that I has kind of shocked me in the last few days. I kind of was sitting, I was thinking, and I said, wow. Now, this is something that I wasn't so sure that I would actually find in my YouTube travels. Because I've seen on YouTube, I've seen thieving, I've seen begging, I've seen vicious lying, I've seen scamming, I've seen stomp down treachery take place. I've seen all those things. I've seen narcissism. Um, we've been talking about it lately, a false narrative. I've seen a false narrative. But usually, as a whole YouTube community, we've done pretty well with taking care of false narratives. And I know I told y'all get tired of me talking about, we're gonna take care of it this time too, because it's actually going on as I speak. We're dealing with where there's a false narrative trying to be built in our YouTube sector. And as a whole, we're gonna take care of it this time too. We're gonna knock it out. Y'all know what I'm talking about, that gay man versus black woman thing. We're gonna knock it out this time too, like we always knock it out, because it's false. It is a false narrative, it doesn't exist, and we're not going to allow it to exist. We're going to take care of it. I'm more than sure. I would bet money on it. We're going to take care of it like we've always taken care of it. Um, I've seen bullshit activism. Whew, and like the last 2 years, baby, I've seen that. And yeah, it was like craziness. I've seen that. I've seen that. And when you align, okay, so that's like I said, I've seen all of this while I've been here, these years I've been here. When you align all that stuff I just said, and you align that with mental illness, is when you get the word that I literally was sitting and I thought about it and I was like, that word should never come up when I'm thinking about my YouTube journey. And that's sociopath. A sociopath, like, are you kidding? Like, that's not anything that I would actually think that I would find on YouTube. So I'm definitely a little too swift to ever align myself with a sociopath. But I'm gonna just put this on out there because there's some people who have done it, and maybe you could. And it doesn't mean that you're not swift. Maybe you slipped up and ran out, but they're out there. They really are out there. And let me just give you this. Remember what? Well, I'm gonna give you this. This is what they got in a dictionary, baby, about a sociopath. It's a person with a psychopathic personality whose behavior is antisocial, often criminal, and who lacks a sense of moral responsibility or social conscience. Y'all know anybody in the YouTube streets like that? I done seen a couple. I done seen a couple. And I'm like, this is wow. This is different. This is crazy, you know? And when that type of person starts saying your name, and you be like, I don't want to align myself with you. I don't want to be in no friendship, relationship, or no other kind of ship with you. Like, you just stay clear of them because you can't. They got too much going on. You can't fight with them. You can't argue with them because they not in touch with. Now remember what I said. I'm gonna run through them again. It's all aligned: treachery, thieving, scamming, begging, lying, narcissism, false narratives, bullshitting activism. And then you just take all of that and then it's all coupled up with mental illness. Child, who the hell want to be bothered with that? And then you kind of look, and I'm telling you, the signs are there. You'll see the signs. You'll see it. You'll see the false and you'll see the fakery. And it's just, you'll be like, wait a minute. And when you start listening to the activism piece of it, it falls in and it falls out, falls in and falls out. You know what I mean? You have to listen. You know, like if you tell me I'm all for this, but then you take all of that and you take and you tear it down. I thought you was for that. Oh, okay. And then you gotta watch. And when it's YouTubers, you gotta watch because sometimes they get up in the camera real crazy and they be all in the camera and stuff. You child, be careful. Be careful. I'm telling you, be careful. But a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, there's these people that are leading the charge. If you find yourself and you hear a person leading the charge and they in that camera like that, and they well get a and they little cockeyed, they all child, don't you get on up out of there. That's your cue to exit stage left because this shit ain't gonna turn out good. All of that stuff together, like I said, partnered with mental illness is literally a smorgasbord of pure shit. Pure shit. But anyway, so I've talked long enough today about friendships and relationships and that kind of thing. Thank y'all for letting me bend your ear. Like I said, I'm going to figure out, because I'm just kind of all over the place today with this, but I'm going to figure it out and then we'll actually go back in. I didn't want to put this under story time because it's really not a story time, but this will end up branching us into some story times because with exploring some of these subjects, I'm going to have to tell you some stories. Well, I told you a couple little things about things that have gone on, but I didn't go too deep. But yeah, I'll have to tell you some story times, and I definitely can about these things and why I am so leery of certain types of people. And yeah, and I see people. I see them. Just because you don't see me saying things about them or yelling at them and screaming at them, I see them. I see them. I see them. And trust me, I got four eyes. If you haven't noticed, you know I wear an old nasty contact lens. I got four eyes. Just because you don't see the brown eyes underneath the gray ones, don't be confused. I fucking see their ass. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. We'll talk again soon. See y'all.